Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm GT and tonight we're on iRacing for the final round of the Apex Esports League Spec Racer 4 Challenge. Tonight's round is at Summit Point Raceway. So the session tonight, we've got 10 minutes of practice, followed by 10 minutes of qualifying, and then the race, which is 40 minutes. Weather conditions are clear. There's standing starts and double file back restarts. So the standings after the fourth round, we have Sebastian Vandel heading into the final with only a 10-point lead in the championship, with Blake Urquhart having not so strong as a result last week, allowing Sebastian to take advantage and move on up. Also in our top three, we have Aaron Thompson with 330 points, and Robbie Bradbury's not too far behind on 304 points. So the results last week for Alton Park Circuit in the Island layout was Robbie Bradbury taking the win after qualifying second, and then he also took the fastest lap, so showing some very good pace out there. We did have Sebastian Vandel qualify pole and then take second place. So we're heading over onto the track now. Drivers are just head out into a 10-minute practice. Once this loads up, we'll be good to go. And there's Sebastian and Blake both sitting nice and tight in their team liveries for Midline Sim Racing. Don't forget, if you're joining us for the stream, you haven't done so, hit that follow button. We do broadcast iRacing each Monday night, and then also Project Cars 2 on Thursday nights. So plenty of racing action to be found on our channel. And don't forget, jumping into the chat, say hello. Let us know who you're here to cheer on, and who you think's going to take pole, who's going to take the win. It's going to be pretty close between Blake and Sebastian. They've put on a pretty good show between the two. They had some great battles. And Blake not having the best night last week, having to retire out, finishing 7th in the race. That did allow Sebastian to finish in a very good position. And drivers have been doing some pretty quick times from what they were reporting in the chat before heading into the session. I think they are seeing 120s. That's some pretty quick lap times. So far, the first time lap in practice is a 122, and then it's just been beaten with a 121. So they're reining that down pretty quickly. And that was Matt Tesseria who just got that 121. So tonight's round will be the decider. There is 120 points up for grabs. It's unlikely we can have much movement to take the championship from Aaron Thompson. He's got 242 points on the ladder. He's in the session, he's just not out on track yet. So he's currently got 242 points. Actually, that's I think that's a little bit delayed, that one that I'm actually looking at. That is. You can hear a bit of a lock-up going on. That's a bit of a slide. Not sure if that's like that may be have been Aaron Thompson. Looks like a bit of latency issues going on with Aaron Maguire at the moment, saying he's on track, but we can't seem to bring him up. Sebastian practicing a pit entry. There's Robbie, he took victory last week. He had a fantastic drive. It will be interesting to see how our drivers go in the next coming series, which will be the Formula Vs. They're a much nicer car to handle compared to the spec races. We're going to see some pretty intense battles going on. Aaron Thompson from Clutch Kickers. He's followed by his Clutch Kickers teammate behind him, Mark Horton. And Mark's come through for 120.4. Pretty sure that was the time he was mentioning in the driver's brief before we head over to the stream. And Mark's had some pretty serious pace in this series. He's had a fair few slides. He hasn't been able to get a whole lot of practice in for the series. He's had a fair few things he's been having to deal with, so we wish him all the luck with those. Blake Oka so far showing the 4th quickest time out there in the practice. There's a minute 30 remaining, and then we'll be heading over for a 10-minute qualifier. Blake and Sebastian will be needing to look at securing a pretty good spot up the top. As long as the other finishes in front of each other, they should be able to secure enough points to get that win. If one has quite a bad result, it's definitely going to cost them the championship. And they are competing for a Apex Esports League champion stubby cooler as well. So that will be sent out to the winner of this series. Oh, that's a good slide. Gets that back under control. It was Mark Horton. And they can see some tyre marks going off into the sand trap just before that tyre wall. Someone's misjudged a corner. I might try and jump on board for a lap with someone who may be close to wrapping up a lap. Probably might have to do that in the qualifying. I think he's going to have enough time to get another lap in. So he's in the back sector of the track at the moment. So there's 10 corners around Summit. I think it's about 3.2 kilometres in length. It is a good, fun, tight, fast, technical track. And there we are, the session has just ended. Blake's over in the pits, and the session will load up for qualifying. And we have made some changes to our upcoming points charts. We will now be having qualifying points earned for the championship. So it's actually mimicking very similar to that what we do in our Project Cars 2 championships. Drivers do receive points for qualifying, then also in the race points. And then there's also 10 bonus points available for the fastest lap of the race. We'll jump on board for a lap with Sebastian, our current championship leader. Only marginally holding that lead to come into the final round with 10 points ahead. It is very tight. Don't forget, if you join us for the stream, we do have those sound effects controls underneath, so you can play a variety of fun sound effects, so you can cheer on and applaud your favourite drivers. Sebastian already showing some fierce pace on the out lap, so I'm pretty sure that's Aaron Thompson and Aaron Maguire that he's looking to get around. No, it's actually Mark Horton by the looks of it. Sebastian just gets around. He's going to probably want to have no traffic around him. Try and squeeze out and get that solid lap in. I think Blake may be leading the charge at the moment. There we go. On for a lap. So it was fit straight down to turn, or he's misjudged that. There's also been another car that's followed suit. Hopefully he doesn't bring that car in. He's going to bring that in. He was not happy with that. Stay on board with Aaron Thompson. So it's coming down on the pit straight into turn 1. That's just where Sebastian went off. It's very quick first a couple of corners. So tap of the brakes, off the throttle, right up over that curb, off on the exit. Very easy to run a tyre off onto that sand trap on the exit, and that will put you into a spin. Throttle control here, and then really hard to get the car across, brake, and then turn in, especially with how light these cars are in the front. Very tricky and not to slide out. It's a very steep curb for nicking it, but you want to get as close as you can to be able to get this great speed here. You should be able to go flat stick from the rest here. A little bit of throttle control. You can usually take it a bit quicker. If you get that right line and swing that car and get the right body roll, you can flat stick through. Very quick tap of the brake down a gear. Right out onto that curb. Using that full length of trap so you can carry a lot more speed down onto pit straight. That was a 122.6 that was set. That was a very good time. It's setting him in the 4th quickest time so far. And we have Robbie Bradbury that's taken pole time. Quickest time we saw in practice was a 120.4. Robbie's done a 120.2. A very quick time. That's followed by Blake Urquhart with a 120.4. Matt Cesario currently with the 3rd quickest. He's just in a very low 121. So that's a 121.2. I think that was his first time lap. He's showing his previous lap was a 120.6. Oh, that is correct. He's just improved at that. He's come through with a 120.6. Guy gets a very nice line out wide, pulls that through. A little bit of sliding, you can see where they've got to bring that car back over, ready for that very sharp left-hand corner. A fair few incidents happen on that corner. And there is a little bit of a hill where you go off, so you can end up with a lot of damage. Our drivers do have unlimited fast repairs, however if they end up with catastrophic damage, they will need the car to be towed back into pit lane. And that usually takes a couple of minutes before you can actually get your car repaired. And our cars are capped at 45% fuel. It's going to require the drivers to do a pit stop. They're the last out the full 40 minutes of the race. There's a fair bit of traffic coming down pit straight. I think that's Sebastian that's just tucked in behind. Sebastian only coming in with a 122.6 for his qualifying time so far. He's seeming to sit back a little bit at the moment. He's probably holding off. And he has been able to steal pole. Oh, runs wide. He has tended to steal pole in the last laps. So right at the end of the session, he's continued to run. All the rest of the cars were in, and then managed to get a real fly up. It could potentially be his strategy. Our drivers are probably a little bit less fatigued than we had last week. They were coming into it after having done the Spa 24 hour over the weekend for most of the drivers. So I'm guessing they're probably feeling much more refreshed. Oh, Mark Orton goes out very wide, narrowly avoids that tyre wall. It'll do him out for this lap. But he's probably not going to want to bring that car in unless he's pretty confident. He seems to be pretty confident with that time. A 120.019, so we've almost broken into the 119 mark. Oh, Robbie goes out very wide. That corner's thrown a few off so far. And if you're joining us for our stream, you will notice our social media links at the bottom. It's our Facebook page, our YouTube link, and also, you would already be on it, so it is our Twitch. That is there for you to share out, so we can appreciate the support we get for Apex eSports League and how we are growing. We've got some pretty good prizes coming up from some sponsored series. We are having Magnum Imports sponsoring our next Project Cars 2 series for the RSO1s. That'll be starting in a couple of weeks on Thursday nights. So be sure to hit that follow button so you get notified when we go live. And you can catch all the action for that. There's going to be some fierce battles going on. All the drivers are pretty keen to win the fantastic prize that's up for grabs. And our next series for iRacing, we will be doing the Formula Vs, as I was mentioning. And for that series, we will be supporting Beyond Blue. So a great cause to be supporting, try and help raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention. And there will be fundraising for that, so be sure to stay tuned for it and help us out with supporting Beyond Blue. And Mark Orton's still with that 120, almost flat. There's not much difference between him and Blake Urquhart. Blake setting a 120.190. And Sebastian Van Del has got on a much quicker time now, and he's only 0.001 off of Blake's time. He's set a 120.191. That is very tight. You can see how much these guys have been similarly paced and why they've put on such a good show with battles between the two. So they are a fitting team. And of course they're with Midline Sim Racing. And Robbie Bradbury with the Century Motorsports KFC. He is missing his teammate Stephen Banks, who's having a break from the series. He'll be back for the Formula Vs. Don't forget, if you want to get involved in our events, you can go to our Facebook page down below. It has all the links to get onto our iRacing League page and join up on iRacing. Otherwise, if you do search for Apex eSports League, you will find us and of course see our logo with it. There's not much time difference between all our drivers. There's 1.9 seconds separating the 7 cars. Looks like he's going, is he? He may have been slowing up to bring that car in. So that is qualifying complete. So that will have been Blake's last lap. That was 120.4. Well, there we go. Mark Horton's come through for 119.9. We did break into the 119 mark. That's a very quick lap. That's the last lap for Sebastian. Oh, and he's just stolen pole at 119.7. He's done what I've mentioned just before. He leaves that last lap to steal away the pole position. There he is getting around Matt. So Matt's finished up that lap. We have Aaron peeling into the pits and preparing. So we'll be having, I think Sebastian's going to do a burnout for us. Usually likes to play around beforehand, and he's usually watching the stream at the same time too, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if we can get him a... Oh, he's brought the car in. So the session has completed. Once all the drivers are ready, yes, it will load over into it. See if we can get a nice view. Let's get a bit of a funny lineup as we're waiting for it to grid. A couple of drivers to hit that ready button just yet. We're going to get a nice view here. Got Robbie left to hit that grid button. I probably want to see what's going on there, so we'll bring that ticker up. Here we go, drivers have hit the ready to start the final round. Light's about to drop green. And we're away. A little bit of delayed start, good spin, but Sebastian be able to pull away very quickly. Blake's also getting up alongside of Mark. Mark's had a bit of a slower start. They're tucking in very tight. Sebastian holds that inside line. I think Blake's going to position himself nicely alongside of Mark Horton. He's not going to be in a very good position for the following corner. Mark's probably going to be able to dominate the track position. Oh, he switches out for that inside line. It's going to be very quick and tight. It could nearly squeeze him off. Narrowly just brings that car back in. That was pretty tight. Mark's going to have to try and hold off Blake. Mark had the pace in qualifying and practice. Looks like a pretty good clean start to the race. Oh, he's gone out a little bit wide, feeling the pressure from Blake. Blake's really looking to try and get around. You can see him picking gaps to try and take. However, Mark pulls away. Hear that tyre squealing. Both get real wide out, carrying a lot of speed. Following that draft, you can see where Sebastian weaved to the right hand side, trying to break that stream. The two-follower is going to look for an inside line. Mark slightly moves over to block most of the inside line. Nice defensive move. Oh, and then Robbie Bradbury's going to come up along the inside. No, he didn't have enough speed to pull up. This is where they went wrong before. The two both go off. Mark's probably going to lose a fair bit of position. No, he comes back on side by side. Chuck straight back in, but he's going to have to be hard on the anchors. Blake's gone very quick. He's spun. I don't know if he's taken damage, but also Mark. They both came into that corner very quick. That's the corner I did mention in the practice was most likely going to be full of incident. I'm not sure if Blake may have actually taken damage. We'll look back and just see. He did, yes, so he made contact to that wall. That's a fair bit of front end damage. That's going to cost him over the course of the race. The car's probably not going to be handling up to scratch. That has allowed Sebastian Varndell to be able to pull ahead while the rest were battling it out, having his two closest drivers run off track. So Mark Horton's now dropped back down into 6th position. Blake and Robbie almost falling out onto that section of sand trap. And we saw Mark and Blake both battle. And back to the corner that made them come undone last lap around. Matt's just gone off. Oh, he's taken a big hit. He's come off and made multiple contacts to that left-hand side. That's unfortunate for Matt. He's going to be looking at trying to move up into a better position. He's been having a great couple of last rounds. He's been showing some great speed. We still have Robbie and Blake battling it out. Blake narrowly just gets ahead. He's on the outside. Wasn't far enough ahead. Robbie then just tucks it back in. Now have Aaron Thompson closing in on the two. They both run wide again. This is going to definitely cost them. They're really pushing each other here, trying to get as much speed as they can. Lovely pass by Blake, but then he's just spun around. That's a bit of a hit. Can he get out of that in time? He's going to have to probably consider bringing that car in. That's likely not performing up to scratch. Yeah, he's had some fairly big hits. That right rear suspension looks like it's taken a fairly big hit. Just trying to find where it is. You can see where it's really punched in the back. And that front left took a hit from the first one. He's wearing a fair bit of damage. He's going to have to decide whether pitting in now will actually be able to last him out. With the fuel capacities, it's likely he's not going to have enough fuel to finish out the race, requiring a second pit. The longer he stays out, he's going to be losing pace and making a risk of potential incident further. So I think from what I've worked out, the cars have been able to get about potentially 3/4 of the race done on the capped tank of fuel. Blake's probably going to try and last out at least another 5 to 10 minutes before deciding to pit the car and deal with that damage. You can see a bit of damage to that rear of Robbie's car, and I think that front left has taken a hit. You have Aaron Thompson up in third position. He did come into the final round in third. He's doing very well. His teammate Mark Horton's caught back up into fourth position. You can see Blake's car almost doing a little bit of crab walking down the straight. He's not carrying as much pace as the rest of them. He's having to take it much slower through the corner. I think he's losing about 15-20 k's an hour on the car, and yeah, he's really struggling to steer that car. You can see it wandering about. He's just going to have to limp it for a little while. We have Aaron Maguire and Matt Serio currently in 6th and 7th position. Teammates battling it out. Matt having dropped back after making that wall contact. Fastest lap of the race has been a 1:19.888. And that was set by Sebastian Vandel. And that was on the last lap, so lap 5. There's just under 32 minutes remaining of the race. Sebastian currently leading the race by 7.5 seconds, but I'm pretty sure that's now just been pushed out to 8.2. Yes, that has just been updated. The other race leaders down along pit straight. Down through turn 1. The clutch kickers are going to be battling it out for position 3. Ooh, a very quick line. You can see a fair bit of traffic that's gone through on that sand trap to the right of the track on that corner exit. Means there's going to be a fair bit of debris still on the track. It didn't look like too many went off in the practice and qualifying. as track use does get carried over into each session. Meaning drivers do have to play caution and try and pay attention to where cars may have gone off in the sessions leading up to the race, as there could be a little bit of debris still on the track. Robbie, last lap he set at 120.344. Sebastian just set a 120.152. Blake managing to carry a heap more speed down the straight, is not being as cautious now. He's obviously gotten the hang of how the car's feeling in its current state. So they're a little bit more confident to be able to push it to its limits just that little bit more. Very nice line. And Sebastian, our race leader, flying ahead. He's still pushing that gap out. He did just get it up to 8.6 seconds in the live data feed. We've had Matt head into the pits and Aaron Maguire. They're both in there for 21 seconds. Cars are starting to space out a little bit. And Mark Horton did move up into P3. We had Aaron Thompson go off track on lap 7. We'll go back and have a look and just see what was going on. He spun out at that corner. We've seen a few go off. That's where Blake and Mark had their spin. Looks like he's taken a bit of damage to that front right. And Robbie Bradbury's gone off track as well. I'll check back and just see what was going on. So he's up onto that curb. Not sure where that is. I think that's around turn 1. Or is that the back section of track? That's allowed Mark Horton to move up into P2. Blake Urquhart's now moved up into position 4. That's a pretty good recovery from the accidents that he's had. And he should be fairly safe to be able to pit in at any stage now. But if he's pretty happy with how the car's feeling, it's probably going to last out there a little bit because he's slowly picking his way up through the board, despite having quite a heavily damaged car. Robbie's last lap costing him 12 seconds. He's only lucky to have lost the one position. You can see he pulls away a little bit quicker compared to Blake. They both run wide, both follow that line. Oh, that's going to be very bad for Blake. It could have nearly put him into quite a bad spin. He's carrying a lot of speed. It's going to run him wide again. This is where things went wrong for him before. He's not having a whole lot of luck. You've really got to be able to pull that car right across the right-hand side of the track before being able to turn in. If you're on that left-hand side, you've got to shave off a lot of speed. And then when these things are under braking quite heavily, you start to turn in, it's not going to go anywhere. It just starts to lock up and then put you into a slide. I found they don't enjoy too much trail braking. That's probably because of that front end just being so light. You really need to get on the brakes well and truly before to try and put some weight down onto that front end completely. Oh, he swings out along a pit straight. He's going to be in a very nice position for turn 1. He owns that track position. Nice and inside for the turn 2. This is where we saw Robbie really pull away last lap. Blake's car really not having as much speed to get up and away. They both don't run wide too much. Last lap they both went out very wide. Blake in a much nicer position on that outside line. Just chucks in front of Robbie. Robbie's car seeming to really be able to outperform Blake's in its current state. Blake is still being able to handle this car very well. And a race leader, Sebastian, out in front by 4.5 seconds. He's still setting some very quick lap times. Fastest lap of the race now has been Mark Horton with a 1:19.7. Previous fastest was a 1:19.8 by Sebastian. And I think Blake has peeled off into the pits. Not sure where he is actually. The chopper. He's in the pits to get some terrible angles. He's come out with those repairs done. That was a 15-second pit stop. He's going to be enjoying that car a lot more now that it's had those quite bad damage that was done to the car. Mark's closed that gap in on Sebastian by 5 seconds. Currently, Mark is running, he was running about a second quicker compared to Sebastian. So that's going to allow him to catch up over the course of the next 5 or 6 laps if they keep at this pace. We've had 3 cars head into the pits. Blake Urquhart just on the lap before. We've had Matt and Aaron Maguire both already pit in. They're pitting quite early. Oh, very wide again. Aaron Thompson currently in 4th position. He's got 5 seconds till he catches Robbie Bradbury in 3rd position. Sebastian flying out front still. It's on the roll bar with Sebastian Vandel. He's our championship leader. He's 10 points ahead of Blake. He's consistently putting down 1:19s at the moment. Yeah, it's furthered out another 1 second lead over Mark Horton. Very nice lines, he's driving very consistent. Very quick on that exit line. Been on board for a pretty quick lap. Really pushing this car real far out off onto that exit curb. Does a 1:19.9. He's getting this thing up to probably about 200 Ks. It's 202 kilometers an hour before getting on the brakes. Let's watch how close he'll get on this corner where a lot of the cars have been going out wide and losing a lot of time. So you got to try and get up onto the curb but not out into the dirt. Perfect. There was not a mil to spare on that exit curb. Brilliant driving by Sebastian. He's pushed that gap out to 6.9 seconds currently, or it's just moved out to 7.1. Robbie Bradbury still in third position. There's 20 minutes remaining of the race. Our race leaders will need to pit in at some stage. Don't forget, if you're just joining us for the stream, hit that follow button. We appreciate the growing support for Apex eSports League. And of course, our social media links down below. Here comes Aaron into the pits now. Blake's currently 13 seconds behind Aaron. Depending on how quick that pit stop is, Aaron could potentially get out in front of him. He's not going to be released in time. Blake moves up into position 4. And it's showing that's Aaron's second pit stop, so he has already been in. Matt Cesario moves up into position 5, and he has already pit. He should be fine to last out the remaining laps of the race. Aaron Thompson back out on track. He's just ahead of Aaron Maguire. He's probably on some green tyres. They're going to be a little bit slippery. As I was mentioning, our social media links. You can check out our Facebook page. It's where we put all our results and standings, so you can keep up to date with how our drivers go in the championship and be able to read any incident reports. And then our bit.ly/ApexESL. That is our shortened link to our YouTube channel. All our past broadcasts get uploaded onto YouTube. So there's plenty of series to be able to go through and check out. We do a variety of racing classes. We don't just stick with the one class. We run each class over a series of 5 weeks. There's plenty of action from iRacing and especially from our project cars too, which we've been broadcasting a lot longer than we have for iRacing. Mark Orton starting to drop back a little bit more again. He's about 0.3 slower last lap around compared to Sebastian. He was putting down some very quick times and doing quite consistent. There's a fair few laps with 1:19s. And Robbie's in the pits now. We can even see him, pit lane perhaps, yes. And it's unfortunate we don't see the crew get in and change tyres and the likes. It's only available on some cars. We've done well. At 16 minutes remaining of the 40-minute race. There's been no pace car required. Blake currently sitting in third position. He will need to ensure he definitely finishes ahead of Sebastian to take championship win. points. So there's 120 points for a win. And position 2, there's a difference of 12 points here. They will take 108. If Blake does finish in first and Sebastian in second, means he will be able to take the championship win by only 2 points. Oh, very wide for Robbie. That's going to cost him. So they're going to have to slow down for it. We have Matt slowly catching up to Robbie. He's about 10 seconds, and I'm just moved out to 10 seconds away. However, last lap here was about 1 second quicker compared to Robbie. Could be because Robbie did just pit in the last lap or so, meaning his tyres are probably a little bit cool if he swapped them out. However, Matt did pit pretty early, so his rubber would definitely be a lot more worn than Robbie. Sebastian gets another nice line. He gets that corner every time, perfectly lined up on the edge of that exit curb. He's being very consistent. That was his last lap was a 120 flat. He's led for the full 19 laps so far. And we don't have any drivers down a lap. It's been a very good race. Been nice and clean, despite there's been a few spin outs and some contact with wall. And it's those drivers that actually did make the contact that have actually moved up, back up into a good position. And our race leader now pitting, Mark Horton, opts to stay out on track. Let's see what sort of speed he gets to. One pit straight, we saw about 202 from Sebastian. 202 as he approaches that braking zone. So very similarly paced. That lap was a 1:23.27. Sebastian's back out on track. It's currently 22 seconds behind Mark. His pit stop was 16.2. We have Blake looking to get up onto Robbie. I'm not sure if he did actually lose a position. Did have Blake actually go off track, or briefly go back and see what's going. So he did spin, allowing a position to go to Robbie. Robbie now in P3. I think that is Matt has just been in the pits. So that's his second pit stop. And Mark currently pitting. That's allowed Sebastian to take back the lead. Mark's heading out now. Re-enters the race in position 2. Robbie Bradbury not too far behind. He's 7 seconds behind Mark. Mark's probably going to have to take it a little bit easy if he's swapped out those tyres. They're going to be a little bit cool. Blake, having had that spin, is still sitting only 3 seconds behind Robbie. There's plenty of time to catch up. There's 10.5 minutes remaining. Sebastian having led every lap of the race, except for having to head in for that pit stop. And he's got 13.4 seconds ahead of Mark Horton. With only 10 minutes remaining, with how consistent he has been driving, that's going to be very likely a win for Sebastian. So currently only have one driver a lap down at the moment. Aaron just coming out of the pits. So they did pit pretty early. I'm not sure if they may have been tending to some damage early in the race. They probably had to head back in and get fuel. And only just having pit then. That's where I was estimating that they usually get about 30 minutes worth of fuel. So they can get a good majority of the race, about 3/4 done, before needing to have to head in and stop for fuel. Sebastian having a cracker of a race. Dominated early from the start. And after Mark Horton and Blake Urquhart having the spin out on those early laps, allowed him to really pull ahead. However, he's coming up to some traffic. Sebastian's race has been completely unstuck in previous rounds from back markers. He has had some bad luck. He's got enough time between him and P2. And he doesn't have to really put too much pressure on the back marker and just take it easy and get around nice and safely. That's good. We haven't had to have any drivers retire out. We've usually had a couple in most of the rounds. Sebastian only just drops a bit of tyre off. Really pushing that car. He's probably quite focused on car ahead now. It does start to take a little bit of your focus away, especially when he's been doing essentially the last 22 laps. We're seeing nothing but empty track up ahead. So you got 7.5 minutes to stay focused and get that car back safely, and then the win will be his, and that will also mean a championship win. He has won a championship before. He did dominate the GT3 championship. It was before we were broadcasting the races and before we started offering prizes as well. So it'll be great to be able to send out a prize to Sebastian. It'll be well earned. Make our way down through the rest of the field. Currently have Mark Horton in position 2. He's 15.2 seconds away from Sebastian. In position 3 we have Robbie Bradbury. He's heading into the pits. He's already been in, so he's taken a big hit. See what went on for him. So he spun out that same corner where we had several drivers. So it's unfortunate for Robbie having to pit back in. That's cost him a fair few positions now. Aaron Thompson moves up into position 4. Blake's in position 3. Blake currently 40.5 seconds away from our race leader Sebastian. He's got 25 seconds between him and position 2. Only 5 seconds behind is Aaron Thompson in position 4. There's about 36 seconds behind Aaron is Matt. And that's Sebastian that's just gotten around Matt. So Matt, sorry, Sebastian, when I get the names correct here, Sebastian will be a little while till he catches up to Aaron Thompson, who's next to be lapped. There's about 30 seconds in between. With only 5 minutes remaining, it's probably not going to be much of an issue for him, so he shouldn't have any more traffic to contend with. But considering there's only 7 cars out there, and he's just already lapping up until position 5, and then on his way to lap position 4, he's doing very well. And we have Aaron Maguire in position 6. His fastest lap of the race of 120.8. The slowest lap out of any of the cars is a 120.8, and that is Aaron's. That is phenomenal pace. Fastest lap of the race goes to Sebastian with 119.711, followed by Mark Horton with 119.735. Blake Urquhart also in the 119.7s. Then Aaron Thompson in with a 120.3. Matt Cesario a 120.3 as well. Aaron Maguire for the 120.8. And Robbie Bradbury with a 120.098. That is very similarly paced. It's phenomenal. So it's only 1.1 seconds separating on the fastest laps. And then all the last laps being set were all pretty similar. Oh no, Robbie's having some issues with the car. That started to wobble out pretty big. Not sure what was going on for his car. I think too quick in. Yeah, then that just fishied out. It's unfortunate for him at this back. Oh, and he's had another spin as well. And he did just be in with the pits. Those tyres probably cooled down a bit. There's 3 minutes remaining. Sebastian leads this race by 16.1 seconds. Don't forget to use those sound effects controls underneath. Be sure to give an applaud or a cheer for Sebastian. He's had a fantastic drive, and it will be a championship winning drive. And also Mark Horton having much better luck. He's had fantastic pace in the last fair few rounds, but he's had a few spins that's ended up costing him the race, and also taking penalties, having to head into the pits, some speeding in the pits, costing him some hold penalties. And he has been in a pit 2 times. Actually, no, it is only 1. He's done very well, and he's got a good safety net, so he doesn't have to be trying to push that car too much to catch up to Sebastian. It's unlikely to be able to cover 16 seconds with only 1.5 minutes remaining of the race. So it's only 2 laps to go. And he is catching up to Cesario at the moment. And Mark's got a nice gap between him and Blake. There's 30 seconds separating the two. So all he's got to do is just stay focused, keep that car on the lines, not try and push for some fastest lap times. Even though in saying that, the last lap he set was a 119.765. His fastest lap is a 119.735. So very similar pace. Their drivers fairly well spaced out by the end of the race. Sebastian's furthered that lead out. Looks a little bit slippery on that. Was just Robbie that was going off on the back. He managed to bring it in. And Sebastian just set another fastest lap of the race at 1:19.538. That is phenomenal pace. He is not holding back at all. What was he saying? The white flag coming up. So it's not going to give him another lap around. This lap they're on now is the final lap. Sebastian's leading by 17.4 seconds. The rest of the field is very well spaced. It looks like it's empty track ahead for Sebastian. He's not going to have any back markers to contend with on the final lap. Here he is coming on to pit straight. He's doing some weaving. He's going to be very pleased. This will be a championship win. And he crosses the line. Congratulations, Sebastian. Fantastic drive by Sebastian. Mark Horton coming on to pit straight. He's coming up behind Matt Cesario, I believe. Crosses the line in position 2. Congratulations, Mark, on the podium. Blake is a little bit behind. He had about 31 seconds between him and Blake. Sorry, him and Mark. It is Blake that we're talking about. Takes it easy coming onto the straight. Gonna do some fishies across the line by the looks of things. That'll still be enough for him to remain on the podium for the championship. Congratulations, Blake. The driver's doing some victory burnouts. And there we have results. For the final round, we have Sebastian Vandel taking victory in the final round, allowing him to take the championship win as he did come into the final round with 10-point lead over Blake. He's definitely got that ahead of him and taken the championship. So well done also to Mark Horton taking position 2, followed by Blake Urquhart also on the podium in position 3. Then we have Aaron Thompson, Matt Cesario, Aaron Maguire and Robbie Bradbury. And good to see no one having to retire out. So we getting our podium finishes into the stream. So we have all our guys currently all there. I will unmute them and bring them up. So I actually have them all muted currently. And guys, do we have you?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, congratulations, Sebastian. Fantastic drive. So that's a championship win.
Thank you.
That was leading for whole 29 laps. Only having pit in is the time that another car, you gave them a chance to get out for a lap. So very solid drive.
Yeah, thank you.
And congratulations, Mark, too. Position 2 on the podium. A couple of little scary stuff at the start, but managed to get that car back up and take podium.
Yeah, set there too quick for me. Be sure of this time. Mistakes. Finally get a decent hit.
Yeah, it was a good result. Fair bit of bad luck with some spin outs in the previous rounds, especially when you had some pretty solid pace. And then it was very similar pace for this race as well. Your fastest 1:19.735, and the fastest lap of the race was Sebastian in one of the last laps with a 1:19.711. So very quick pace with his there. And did we get Blake in here as well? Yeah, he didn't jump over. No, but congratulations, guys, on the podium, and look forward
Yeah.
to seeing some great racing in the Formula V's, and especially while we'll be doing some fundraising for Beyond Blue for that series.
We made the donation there, and everyone else chips in. Good luck, guys. See you next season. Thanks very much, JT.
No worries.
Yeah, good season, everyone.
And there we have, that was Sebastian and Mark Horton. So our championship winner, Sebastian. So congratulations again. That was a solid result. And then we have, of course, a week break at the moment. We will be back again on 16th of August, Monday nights again, for another 5-round series. That is the Beyond Blue Formula V Championship. There's some great tracks set up for it with Brands Hatch, Long Beach, Phillip Island, Alton Park and Chicago. So plenty of good intense racing with the Formula Vs, and then that is being supported with Beyond Blue, so be sure to tune in for that and support Beyond Blue and us, and try and help us with our fundraising goal and mission to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention. So thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you trackside next time. So don't forget, we won't be streaming it next Monday. We will put up a highlight of tonight's round most likely, so we can give you some stuff in the break around that rerun. But otherwise, we'll be back live again on Monday 16th at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, so we hope we can see you trackside then.